Position, it will be Josh Bannister supposedly lining up on the pole alongside Ryan Hitchcock, with Samuel Munson in third, Warwick Brady in fourth, and Charlie Huntingford, the current championship leader, in fifth position.
It looks as if Josh Bannister is just lining up on the back of the grid there because he didn't get out to get onto the grid for the warm-up laps. So as he was he's being promoted to pole, so he will be starting from the front. So he lines up a little stoppy there, get the heat into his brakes before this race. So it'll be Josh Bannister then that's lining up on pole, with Ryan Hitchcock just by the side of him. All eyes then to the flag for this one as the revs rise. Josh Bannister then it is with a good start, maintains that lead. Ryan Hitchcock right on his back wheel though, side by side through the right-hander there. So Josh Bannister though that is then demoted to second place. Ryan Hitchcock it is that now has the lead. It looks like Samuel Munson's also lost a position there. He's down to fourth place, having lost a place to the number 99. That's Warwick Brady currently in third. Joshua Williams you can also see there looking very menacing just behind these guys. So it'll be good to see what he can do throughout this race. But Ryan Hitchcock it is now that has the lead and is breaking away. It just looks as if Josh Bannister's struggling for a pace there. He's dropped back to is that fourth place now he's dropped back to, so he's just struggling something, perhaps some more technical issues for Josh Bannister. We saw he had some technical issues yesterday, and so dropping back quite rapidly, not something you expect to see from the pole man, and perhaps a reason why he was late to the grid, Gareth.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, because he is falling back, considering you can see how much time he's already lost. But what is underneath Ryan Hitchcock's bike, because he is rocketed away at the start of this one, got an absolutely brilliant run along the outside into turn 3 and took the lead of this one, and starting to really stretch out. He's already, after lap 1, got a 1.7 second gap over Warwick Brady in second. So Ryan Hitchcock, mega start. You can see him streaking away at the front.
Yeah, as we look at Josh Bannister, I think he's definitely struggling with something. You can see he seems to be, he's looking down at his bike now, so definitely some sort of issues for Josh Bannister. Really unfortunate for him. He's had a bit of an unlucky weekend this weekend, but Ryan Hitchcock absolutely flying at the front there, with Warwick Brady making his way up into second place ahead of Samuel Munson. This battle for second is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But yeah, very unfortunate for Josh Bannister at the moment. Yeah,
I believe Marco Holt may have just moved past him as well, and it seems that Josh Bannister is slow out of it. It's Charlie Huntingford, that moved past Josh Bannister. And how frustrating is it as a rider when you know there's something wrong with the bike and you're just not getting the power out of those corners?
It's one of the most frustrating things you have to come across as a rider when something's going wrong with the machinery. It happens to everyone, and it's unfortunately something you have to deal with. But he seems to still be able to run in this race. So if he can finish this race and get a few points, it'll do very well for his championship this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone wants to know where Ryan Hitchcock is, he's currently 3.2 seconds in the lead. He's absolutely driving away.
Samuel Munson looks like he has a problem there. He tried to get up the inside of Warwick Brady, and now he's trying to get his bike started. I think just a little bit ambitious for the move. And then we have another rider down there. That is the number 73. So that is Ollie Sims, who's gone down there. Fortunately, able to rejoin the race. But
Josh Williams still trying to close in on Warwick Brady for second place. The gap was 0.3 of a second between the pair across the line. Warwick Brady holding on to what would be another podium for him earlier on in this weekend. And Warwick doing a good job at the moment, but he's now just involved in this battle between himself and Josh, because Ryan Hitchcock is just disappearing up the road. Already a 5-second gap for the race leader.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying out the front, is Ryan Hitchcock. Not only is he able to put down some fast laps, but he's able to do it very consistently, which is just seeing his lead just be stretched absolutely every lap. He's a good couple of seconds faster than anyone on circuit. So yeah, brilliant stuff from Ryan Hitchcock at the front. But we're currently looking at Josh Williams there, who had taken second place, but had it taken back. Warwick Brady now into second place, and looks as if he's just stretched a little bit of a lead through that section, so perhaps a little bit of a mistake from Williams through that first section, but he seems to be clawing it back now. So this battle for second really hotting up at the moment, with 4 laps into this race. And it's the battle for second that we've got our eyes on at the moment. Hitchcock is away at the front and safe to pick up the win.
Yep, great job so far for Hitchcock. Joshua Williams and Warwick Brady still battling over that second place. Number 78 Josh Williams, number 99 Warwick Brady behind. There's still battles going on. Marco Holt, Archie O'Brien are still going at each other for 5th and 6th position. Josh Bannister down to 7th after what looks like possible bike issues, and with Thori Trevorrow currently closing in 8th place. So Josh Bannister really going to start suffering with losing some points in this championship, as Warwick Brady once again holds on to 2nd place going into this lap, and Josh Williams still pushing hard to close in, and but it is still Ryan Hitchcock now extending that lead every single lap.
This battle for 4th as well that we're just looking at now between the number 76, actually championship leader, Charlie Huntingford. This is hotting up quite nicely as well. He's defending 4th place from Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien. So if he can keep that going, that'll do well for his championship, especially with Josh Bannister out of this race. Warwick Brady though looking good to set up to pick up 20 points from 2nd place in this battle that he's locked in with Joshua Williams. So looks like we could see a change in championship leader by the end of this race. Yeah,
absolutely so, and it is Ryan Hitchcock who is doing the best job out there. He comes across the line and extending the lead once again. Josh Williams now up into 2nd past Warwick Brady. The gap was less than a tenth of a second between the two. Charlie Huntingford up in 4th position, Marco Holt in 5th, Archie O'Brien in 6th, Josh Bannister in 7th, Samuel Munson is in 8th after that bike issue earlier in the race. Luke Fitchett in 9th, and Wilson Dilks rounding out the top 10.
Just looking again at that battle for 2nd place. Josh Williams doing well to get past Warwick Brady, covering his lines now. 6 laps have been done for these guys as they head onto the back straight. We've said time and time again how strong Josh Williams is into that hairpin, so no way through for Warwick Brady on this lap, although he's looking to get very close at the moment, and he will. You've got to think that he's going to have a go for 2nd place. This battle for 2nd place hotting up really nicely here for the first race of the day for these LC40 Elites. Going into the last lap then, Warwick Brady takes the lead, takes 2nd place, but unfortunately crashes out. So that's Warwick Brady, the number 99, unfortunately out of this race. So Joshua Williams, it will be that's looking comfortable to take 2nd place. But this man out the front, Ryan Hitchcock, looks set to take this win. Red flag now, unfortunately. 1 lap to go, we had a red flag, so that will be your results. Ryan Hitchcock, it will be that will take the win there. Will be Joshua Williams in 2nd place. With a red flag, will it go back a lap? With Ryan Hitchcock, it will definitely be who's taken that win then, and Joshua Williams will be in 2nd place. We'll wait to see who's going to be that who's going to take 3rd place in this one.
Yeah, but it is Ryan Hitchcock that takes that victory, and he was on another level this morning and just got to the lead early on and just drove away from the rest of the field. So a well deserved ride and a well deserved win there for Ryan Hitchcock.
Oh yeah, no one could match Ryan in that one. I mean, he had inferior pace by quite a way, but we know Ryan's a good rider. He's been up through the GP50s, the GP70 class, and I believe he's doing the British Talent Cup as well this year. So he's a well-established rider who's coming back to this class, and showing these boys how to do it. It looks as if, I think that's the pole man of Josh Bannister who's having some... No, Josh Bannister's fine. It looked like some issues for one of the riders there. Couldn't quite make out who that was, but Josh Bannister on pole, Ryan Hitchcock lying up just beside him. They look red and ready to go, but it looks as if we're having a bit of a delayed start here at the moment. As it looks as if, I think, the number 7 of Luke Fitchett who's having some trouble, and we are also having a rider starting from pit lane. as well there. Some difficult starts to the start of this race, but they're away and raring to go. Josh Bannister drops back into second place there from pole. Ryan Hitchcock also moving back through the field as we see a change for the lead at the front.
Yeah, that was Marco Holt starting from the pit lane there in the green Lydd, and he's going to make his way back towards the back of the pack. But yeah, good start there, everyone through cleanly, and you can see already a breakaway at the front there. So great start off the line, and Josh Bannister, as you say, once again, not quite there. So it's going to be a hard race, and you can already see a big gap starting to form over lap 1. So yeah, these riders possibly riding a little bit faster to try and to get the race done before the potential rain comes in.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I'm sure they'll be trying their hardest to get the race done as quick as they can anyway. But yeah, Josh Bannister looking as if he's struggling again in the early stages of this race. Just like we saw last race, just dropping back through the field. Not sure if that's some of the technical issues that he's been dealing with this weekend. An absolute weekend riddled with technical gremlins for Josh Bannister. So really unfortunate for him. But the two guys at the front really putting the hammer down. Now you can see Ryan Hitchcock, race 1 winner, the number 43, really menacing right up onto the back wheel of our race leader now.
Yep, absolutely so. Behind we've got battles throughout the field, so yeah, it's going to be close. We're expecting the LC40 Elite class once again, like we've seen all weekend, to put on a real show for everyone watching, both here in the paddock and at home. And of course, if you're watching at home, let us know who you're supporting if you're watching someone in the LC40 Elite, and let us know, of course, going into the comments. Always good to hear from you. Of course, you could be watching on FAB-Racing.co.uk, FAB Racing's YouTube and Facebook channel. Of course, listen live on motorsport.radio, the world's only 24-hour-a-day dedicated motorsport radio station, from all things from 2 wheels to 4.
And that is Ryan Hitchcock now, who has taken the lead ahead of Warwick Brady. So Warwick Brady doing very well to stay in second position there and try and hatch onto the back wheel of Ryan Hitchcock. But we've seen how fast Ryan Hitchcock can be around this circuit on these little LC40 machines.
Yeah, absolutely so. But it is Ryan Hitchcock that once again has had a great start and enjoying himself out there in front, behind Warwick Brady. Once again, another strong race, Warwick Brady. He's kind of sat there in the background, not quite pushed towards the front, but picking up really consistent results, which, effectively in a championship, you just want consistency, because that gets you up towards the front, and Warwick doing a really good job of that.
Absolutely, yeah. Warwick's had a very good weekend. He should be really pleased with the way the weekend's gone before. Obviously, he's going to want better. Riders always want better, and he's trying really hard now to keep that second place and go with Ryan Hitchcock. But I think the pace of Ryan Hitchcock is just too hot for anyone to handle at the moment. Samuel Munson, you can see they're doing a really good job in third place. A little bit of a gap from between him and Josh Williams, who's fourth place, who we saw earlier on as well, doing a really good job in the AC40 Pros. So yes, a lot of familiar names in this race, and they're all doing a very good job.
Absolutely so, but it is still Ryan Hitchcock leading this one now with just over a second's lead over Warwick Brady in second, while Sam Munson, the number 72 rider, in third, who is battling to hold on to Joshua Williams. So yeah, Sam Munson trying hard to hold on to another podium position. He's another rider that's had a strong weekend, some decent points in the championship for Sam Munson, and however Joshua Williams will be pushing hard after what we saw just a couple of races ago to make up for that late mistake.
Absolutely, Josh Williams setting a really good pace, 55.9 on that last lap, so a really good pace from Josh. He'll be pushing hard to try and fight his way onto the podium, but he's going to have to find his way past Samuel Munson to be able to do that.
Samuel Munson now in second position, with Warwick Brady, in fact, dropped down to sixth according to our timing screen. So yeah, Warwick Brady now falling down the order, so maybe having stopped out on circuit somewhere. So we'll double check for that as they come around, but that would be disaster for Warwick, because I believe was running
that's just a transponder problem for Warwick, because we can see him on track there. He's in second place at the moment, so perhaps some transponder issues for Warwick Brady at the moment, but he's there in second place ahead of Samuel Munson in third, and Joshua Williams fighting for that podium. He's right on the back wheel now of Samuel Munson, so possible podium in the LC40 Elites for Joshua Williams, but he has to navigate his way past the Munson burner first.
Ryan Hitchcock comfortably half a second faster than anyone else every single lap, and he's doing an absolute stellar job to hold on to the lead of this one. And if you're in the position that Ryan Hitchcock is, where he's leading, he's got a comfortable lead at the front, what is it? Is it just paying attention to making sure you hit all your braking points and making sure you hit your tight apexes and just holding on to your nerve? Because obviously we've seen riders already this week kind of have these big positions and big gaps at the front, and it be reeled in and reeled in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Ryan, all he needs to focus on is hitting his markers and setting a good, consistent pace. Oh, and we have a crash there for Warwick Brady, so that's your second place man who's gone down. A little bit of a frustration from him, but the marshals are trying to get his bike back up and running so he can get back out into this race. He's back on the bike and will restart in this race. Yellow flags through that sector now. 3 laps to go now as Ryan Hitchcock still has the lead. Very unfortunate scenes for Warwick Brady, who's running really well in this race, but unfortunately that can happen in racing, Gareth. But now that has promoted Samuel Munson up into second place, and Joshua Williams, who we saw fighting for the win earlier on in the AC40 Pros, up into third place. Charlie Huntingford, we haven't mentioned him much, but he's looking really menacing in fourth place there, and could be a problem for Joshua Williams. So the number 76 pushing really hard and doing an excellent job in fourth place there.
Yeah, we're coming around to start 2 laps to go very shortly, and as you say, a quiet race so far for Charlie Huntingford. Actually, the rider was leading the championship overnight, so don't count him out. He's closing in on Josh Williams, so it's going to be close between the pair of them for the last step on the podium, and they're trying to close in on Samuel Munson as well, so it's all going on for the final step, well, the final 2 places in fact on the podium. However, out front it is Ryan Hitchcock now with a huge 5-second gap, and just a comfortable win. I say a comfortable win, a comfortable ride so far for Ryan Hitchcock, but looking as though he is just making his way through some lap traffic there, and really controlling this race from the front once again. And Ryan, even after starting second on the grid, is just once again got to the front and driven away and done exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Hitchcock, you can't fault him. He's out in front, hitting his markers, doing exactly what he needs to do, and it's, all the action's been happening behind him, and he hasn't had to look back at all. Charlie Huntingford there carving through the number 76 machine, so really good stuff from Huntingford to make his way through on Joshua Williams up into third place. Can you do anything about Samuel Munson in second on this final lap? They make their way through some lap traffic there as they head to the far end of the circuit, but it is still Munson who holds on to second place ahead of Charlie Huntingford, and Joshua Williams there in third place, just clinging on, just looking like he's slightly dropping back from these guys. Will be a tall order for him to get on the podium with only half a lap remaining of this race. There's your race leader there, enjoying this race, although it looks like he has a problem. He's got perhaps a problem there for the number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock. He's trying to push the bike round. It looks like his engine's dead, perhaps he's run out of fuel or something there. He's trying to push the bike around the circuit to try and get to the finish line, but that's not going to work. Samuel Munson will be right through, so it's going to be Samuel Munson who's going to inherit the win of this race. Really unfortunate scenes right at the end of the race for Ryan Hitchcock. So looking at the line there, it's between Samuel Munson and Charlie Huntingford, but Samuel Munson takes the win ahead of Charlie Huntingford, and Joshua Williams does get a podium in the end. The Racecraft Riders development rider there picking up a podium in the LC40 Elite. So that's a podium in the AC40 Pros and the podium in the Elites for Williams today. Hitchcock coming up as fourth on the timing screens, but I think he's dropping back through the order. Unfortunately, he's not able to finish this race, so that's Ryan Hitchcock walking back to the pits now. We can just see from our commentary box up here, he's just walking back to the pits there. So really unfortunate for Ryan Hitchcock. He absolutely dominated the field there, rode brilliantly, but Samuel Munson was there to pick up the pieces when everything went wrong for him.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to feel sorry for Ryan Hitchcock there. Did all he needed, and but as you say, Samuel Munson in the right place at the right time picks up the race victory ahead of Charlie Huntingford in second place. Joshua Williams on the podium in third, with Wilson Dilks up in fourth. Ryan Hitchcock is currently registered at fifth, but we'll check that. Keaton Payne in sixth. Marco Holt making his way up from the back into seventh, so good race there from Marco. Warwick Brady down in eighth, Archie Gibbs and Luke Fitchett rounding out the top 10. But yeah, Samuel Munson really proving there that just if you push until the last lap, anything can happen.
Absolutely. I mean, you need to be the key in racing is always to keep pushing, because anything can happen with the we thought Ryan Hitchcock was there, he'd won the race. We're just having a look at some of the dark ominous clouds making their way over here at Lydd. Hopefully everything can stay bone dry. Archie Gibbs, we saw how strong he was in the wet earlier on the AC40 Pro, so we could expect to see him climbing up the order. We're having reports that the rain is starting to come in again and starting to get a little bit heavier now again, but it looks like all eyes to the flag, and they're away here for the third race of the day for the LC40 Elite. Josh Bannister, it looks like he got a really good start there and a little bit of breathing space already. No, Ryan Hitchcock takes the lead as they go into the chicane. So Ryan Hitchcock on the number 43, finding the grip really early on in this race. Samuel Munson falling back through the pack. You can just see the number 58 there trying to have a go at him. That's Marco Holt trying to have a go at Samuel Munson there, the number 72. Charlie Huntingford, you can see just behind them there with the blue leathers, just being chased down there by Archie O'Brien as well.
Yeah, Marco Holt, really good start there. You can see very strong in these conditions. Seemingly was right on the tail of the rider ahead, and it's the 72 of Samuel Munson. And Marco just having a quick look to the inside as they get into the infield section. Sam is going to have a bit of a handful. You can see Marco gets a run up the inside and takes the position. Great move there from Marco Holt as they exit the final part of the infield section. But across the line is Ryan Hitchcock setting 107 flat, 0.6 of a second faster than Josh Bannister. Marco Holt now up into third place. Samuel Munson down in fourth. Charlie Huntingford in fifth. Archie O'Brien in sixth. Joshua Williams in seventh. Dorley Trevorrow in eighth. And Luke Fitchett back in ninth.
Terrible start for Joshua Williams, unfortunately, from sixth down into seventh place. Seems to be struggling a little bit with these wet weather conditions, but hopefully he can get to grips with them a little bit better in this race. These riders, of course, learning all the time. As we just look on screen at the number 72 there of Samuel Munson. Marco Holt there in the distance is absolutely running away with this third place and has completely gapped the Munson burner there. But just as I say that, Marco Holt has gone down at the left-hander just before the back straight there. So that's the number 58 of Marco Holt. He's back running in this race, so he's going to be on an absolute charge now to try and make up the positions he's lost from that crash. So that promotes Samuel Munson back up onto the podium. So third place currently for Samuel Munson, but he's coming under attack here from the number 76 of Charlie Huntingford, championship leader going into this round, and he's going to be eager to take that third spot away from Samuel Munson.
We've seen Ryan Hitchcock really extend leads in the races so far over the opening 2 days, and once again 2 seconds a lap faster than Josh Bannister in second, so he's already stretched this gap out to 3.7 seconds. So Ryan Hitchcock enjoying himself out there at the moment. Josh Bannister and Sam Munson making out the second and third position. Charlie Huntingford hoping for a podium. Archie O'Brien back in fifth. Josh Williams in sixth, and Luke Fitchett with Thorley Trevorrow behind. Marco Holt unfortunately falling to the back after that fall, but annoyingly for Marco, I think he probably thought he was well in with a shout of a podium there, but just the slightest mistake, very easy to do so. And you could see the rain is starting to come down pretty heavily once again, so the riders out there will have to negotiate not only a tricky surface but also visibility issues.
Yeah, absolutely. With the rain coming down harder and harder, it's going to be harder for these guys to see where they're going, especially for the likes of Charlie Huntingford and Archie O'Brien, who are getting spray off the riders in front. He's going to want to find his way through Samuel Munson so he can have some nice clear vision and have a good crack at catching Josh Bannister in second. But Josh quite a far way up the road at the moment. These two riders at the front, Ryan Hitchcock and Josh Bannister, really in a level of their own. and Ryan Hitchcock really raising the bar here. Good 106.5 on that last lap, a good second and a half quicker than Josh Bannister, who's a good few seconds quicker than Samuel Munson. So these two guys at the front really trying hard. Marco Holt now has caught these guys and is absolutely flying, 107.2 on that last lap. So absolutely quite a bit quicker than the riders in front of these. Right on the back wheel of Archie O'Brien now, and we'll be looking to find a way through these guys up onto a podium position. So these guys are really going to have to defend hard because Marco Holt is really trying to get through that, and he's looking to make a move there on Archie O'Brien. Has he made it stick? No, not quite yet. Yes, and we just have that's Thorley Trevorrow there having some issues. He was having some issues earlier on as well, so unfortunate, very unlucky day for Thorley Trevorrow, but it just looked like Marco Holt was trying to make his way through on some of the riders there. So interesting to see how he's done that. Yes, he's through on Archie O'Brien, and also don't discount Luke Fitchett, the number 7. He's right on the back of these guys as well, so he could come into play for this podium fight as well. So Samuel Munson, it still is, that leads the battle for third. Charlie Huntingford right on the back wheel of him, but Marco Holt it is, who's on an absolute charge at the moment. Yeah, Marco Holt seemingly with so much more confidence into these corners than the riders ahead of Charlie Huntingford and Sam Munson, and you can see just finding grip out there and trying to get a run on the riders ahead, but Ryan Hitchcock has checked out to a 6.2 second lead over Josh Bannister, and those two have driven away from the rest of the field. It's a 21 second gap between second and third, so the pair of those two, although Josh unable to stay with Ryan, as Marco once again looks to the inside into the first hairpin. Can he once again replicate what we saw a lap ago? But not quite. So Marco still in the hunt for this third place. Samuel Munson holding on to it, but it's heating up. We've got 3 laps left to go, and the battle for the podium is 5 bikes strong. He's having a good look at the final corner there. No way through, unfortunately, just yet for Marco Holt. Charlie Huntingford covers his line really well through that final corner, but with 3 laps to go of this race, Marco Holt is really looking in a good place to try and get past these riders. Samuel Munson doing a brilliant job in third place to defend from the charging riders behind him, but Luke Fitchett still there on the back of this group. So what can we see from him coming towards the end of this race? 2.5 laps to go then for these guys as they head into the little complex before the back straight one more time. Marco Holt looking very menacing right on the back wheel of the number 76 of Charlie Huntingford there with the blue leathers. So Marco Holt with the Monster Inc. inspired helmet that we've been talking about all day, really on a charge and looking up the inside, trying to make a move stick on the infield section. Nearly gets it done, and he does. He makes it stick. So Marco Holt up into 4th place, demoting Charlie Huntingford to 5th, and his sights are set now on the podium. He wants to take 3rd place away from Samuel Munson, and as they come across the line once more, 2 laps to go for Marco Holt to try and make a move on Samuel Munson. What can Charlie Huntingford and Luke Fitchett do just behind them as well? So where do you think Marco Holt is going to try and make this move then, Gareth? It's just fascinating watching Marco Holt, because remember, he's already had a fall in this race, back up, and he's just been on it ever since. And I mean, Ryan Hitchcock is clearly on another level in this. He's 11 seconds up the road from Josh Bannister, but Marco Holt is he's doing everything you need. He's in that pack. It's just about finding the right place to get the move done. He's very, very cautiously but very, very smartly made his way. He's not throwing it into any corners. He's always favouring this first hairpin. So watch it come up very shortly. He's in the toe once again. He's going to pull to the inside. Does he go down the inside of Sam Munson into the hairpin? Sam hugs the apex, and he's going to make Marco go the long way around. But once again, you can see Marco with so much more confidence in this infield section, and he's right on the back of Sam Munson as they come around to the second to last corner. But Ryan Hitchcock, what can you say? An absolute superlative drive so far. 15 seconds he's got over second place Josh Bannister. Yeah, he's virtually half a second ahead, or sorry, right, half a lap rather ahead of that battle for third that we were just watching, in an absolute league of his own. So is Josh Bannister, a lonely second for him. We haven't spoken much about him. He's had a very unlucky weekend, but he'll be really happy to pick up a second place here No one could quite catch Ryan Hitchcock in this race, but Josh Bannister also setting a blistering pace there to keep that lonely second place. The number 2 in second place, but Ryan Hitchcock is then who's navigating his way around the final corner for the final time in the final race for this LC40 Elite, and he does a little wheelie across the line and takes the win. So Ryan Hitchcock, absolutely brilliant ride for Ryan Hitchcock to take that win. It will be Josh Bannister, the number 2, up onto second position. But what can Marco Holt do now about Samuel Munson? Munson's done a brilliant job to defend, and there is your race leader, the number 43 there. He is your race winner. But what can Marco Holt do? Can he take this third place away from Samuel Munson? It's going to be a drive to the line. Who's going to get it? It's between Munson and Holt. Gets it on the line. Brilliant stuff from Marco Holt right at the end by putting 0.005 a second. Unfortunately, that is the number 7 there who's crashed out right at the end. That's Luke Fitchett, who we were seeing, who was right on the back of that. So he's crashed out after the line actually there. So thankfully he managed to get past the line and finish that race, but I'm sure a crash after the line isn't what he would have wanted. Unfortunate for Samuel Munson, he did a really good job of covering his lines all the way through that racing. Was in third place for a very long time, but yeah, Marco Holt into third place after that crash earlier on in the race. Brilliant ride for him. He'll be kicking himself to wonder what he could have done if he didn't had that crash earlier on. He was fastest rider on circuit on that last lap, but the fastest rider overall was Ryan Hitchcock.